Hello, and welcome back to LearnSBOM.com. My name is Skylar, and today I'll be walking you through a program that can generate an SBOM for the Go language. It can generate SBOMs on Go modules, applications, and binaries. First, to install, they have a command line tool. You can use it through GitHub Action, GoReleaser, Docker, and you can use it as a library. So obviously, depending on your environment, I would choose the appropriate one for you. I'm going to be using the command line tool today, but they have examples on how to use each one, and they all kind of build off of the command line tool itself. So your use case should be pretty similar, if not identical. All of their information is on the GitHub. So far, reading through and making this demo, there hasn't been anything incorrect or out of date. Given the Issues tab on their GitHub, it looks like they are still responding and updating if there is a genuine issue, so you can always reach out to them through there. As I said, I'm going to be using the command line tool. There are 3 installation options from source, homebrew, or a pre-built binary. I already installed it through this command, and it worked flawlessly, and I expect that the other 2 would work just as well. Switching over to the terminal now, I'm just going to get right into it. The command, the base command, is just CycloneDX-GoMod, and you can just type whatever you want after this or just hit enter. And this just brings up the help page, which gives you a bit of information about the 3 different generation options, as well as obviously you can show the version number. It also gives you a little bit more information on how the subcommands are used. For example, the app subcommand includes only the modules that the target application actually depends on. So the modules that are required by test or package are not included, and this would obviously be used when you're sending out or producing an application. The mod subcommand is quite similar, but it includes all packages in the target module. This can optionally include test packages. There will be flags and such for omitting or not the test modules themselves, and this is usually used in development environments. They also have the binary subcommand, which offers support for generating rudimentary SBOMs. Given this description, I would prioritize generating SBOMs using app or mod, but you can still obviously use the binary subcommand. So moving on to the commands themselves, I'm going to be using mod because that's the Go project that I'm working on, but you can obviously use app or bin depending on your use case. The commands themselves should be quite similar, if not the same. So the command starts off with the same setup, CycloneDX.GoMod, and then the subcommand, for me it's mod, and then I'm going to do -H for the help menu. This is pretty straightforward. It gives you some examples, some flags, and that's it. The examples help out obviously just to have you get your bearings, and then the flags themselves are used for a little bit more customization. I am going to be pretty much copying the second example, but without the -test option for now. Something to note is that when you're actually calling the subcommand, you don't need to set test to anything in order to make it true. In the flags, it says stuff like JSON is set to false. That is just the default. If you even include it, like in this example, that is the same as saying -test equals true. So let's get started with just pretty much copying this command, not including the test option. So CycloneDX-GoMod, mod, and then specifying the output. I'm going to do SBOM.xml. And then for me, this is the path to the folder that I'm going to be scanning. And when it's done, you will see the SBOM.xml in the folder that you're currently in. All right, so as it finished, and as you can see, there is a SBOM.xml here. This SBOM.json was from previous testing, but if you have something with the same name, it'll just overwrite it. It will not warn you, so be careful about that. If we cat this SBOM.xml, you can see that it is pretty standard, quite large, but from what I can tell, it seems to be pretty thorough. So that is just the basic option. So let's go back to the help, and now let's actually add the test module in. So this theoretically should include all the test modules and such that are in the program itself. Just basically copying that second example, SBOM2.xml, because it will overwrite, and then whatever program you're trying to scan. And then when this is done, it will obviously create a new SBOM2.xml. So it is done running. If we check, it's obviously right here. And we can just compare the two with diff. And as you can see, there are only 4 different things. It is just the serial numbers of the bill of materials themselves, and then the timestamp. So in my case, there wasn't any test modules, so there's nothing new added. If you have test modules, this should have some more differences. So after that, I'm going to go back to the help page, and we're going to look at some more flags and stuff that might be important. So one that I noticed and really appreciated was -std. This includes the Go standard library and the dependencies that it checks for. Most of the SBOM generators that I've worked with don't usually have this option, so it's good to have. Some don't even check for the standard library as a dependency, which is a little bit strange, so I'm glad that was there. They also obviously have JSON creation. They have license information, which seems to be accurate and work pretty well. And then it has a type flag followed by the application. So this is going to be useful when you're sending out a product itself to have an actually thorough SBOM with the correct headers and such. So I'm going to be making a different command than the two examples. This one's going to include -std. I'm going to make it a JSON file and include licenses. So it has the same setup as every other one. I'm going to do -std -json and then -licenses. And again, this will include the Go standard library, change it to a JSON file, and include licenses. Then the rest is the same with the output .json, of course, because it's no longer going to be an XML file, and then whatever program you're actually trying to scan. After running, we should see, if there are any, some dependencies it warns you about without licenses, which is always helpful. As I say, it warns you of any dependency with no license detected. This is important. Obviously, if you know that something has a license, you can obviously update it and confirm that everything's properly licensed. So looking now, we can see that there is a BOM.json, and if we cat, we can see it's obviously in the JSON format. For the standard library, this strutils is in the standard library, so we at least know that that works. And you can see here the reference is Golang std standard library at Go 1.18, which is the version that I'm in. And then scrolling up a little bit, we can see some license information. Just for example, this one includes BSD3 clause, which depending on your company policies might or might not be allowed. So that's why you would use license information, of course. So that is it for this video. Overall, I feel like this project is really good for Go projects, Go modules, and binaries, especially if you need it in the CycloneDX format. I was pleasantly surprised with their standard library inclusion. As I said, not many generators actually have that. I was also surprised about the different installation options that you can have with a command line, GitHub Action, GoReleaser, Docker, and library usage. And as I said, you can scan modules, applications, or binaries. That is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to check out more of our videos on our YouTube channel and check out our website at LearnSBOM.com. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you for checking out this video. If you really liked it, be sure to check out our other videos right here, and then you can also subscribe right up top here. And again, thank you. Bye-bye.